let's get back on the Air Force knife restoration. And this is the one that has to be 100% restored. Now, it's been a couple days since I've been on it. Got a little bit of surface rust. Just knocked that off. Hang on just a minute. Now, take a little bit of 220 sandpaper. Now, most of this you'll never see. But you need it very nice and clean. Before I start cutting the leather for the handle, I'm going to go ahead and cut the leather. What I meant to say is I'm going to go ahead and get it all cleaned up before I cut the leather. Now, since when put the leather on there for the handle, won't be able to get to this, I'm going to go ahead and put some gun blue on there. So it's covered and protected. And I'm telling y'all, gun blue is the absolute best finish that I know of for any kind of metal, not just knives, just any kind of metal. Because it will protect the metal and make your chances for being rusty or getting rusted a lot less. You can high polish this steel and look great for a month or two, and then it will rust and patina, guaranteed. Been there, done that. Unless it's stainless steel, but we don't like no stainless steel around here. There we go. Now we get the gun blue and put that on there, and move on to the next step. Alright, let's put a coat of blue on here. I'm just using a Q-tip. And this is the baby safe type Q-tips. I get those because they have a lot more cotton on them. We're going to do the tang also. Spill some on the table, so we're going to sop that up and use it too. Alright, there we go. Now the bottle says let it sit 60 seconds and rinse it with water. It'll be plenty of 60 seconds before I get to the sink. Close that up and let's clean up our mess. And I hate I spilt that. That's a lot of waste. Alright, I'm going to rinse it off with water and we'll come back and start cutting the leather for the handle. Now, time to start cutting the handle. I'm going to cut some squares of leather. And all this is scrap. And that's about the size right there. Nothing has to be perfect on this because it's going to get ground down to shape. Let's cut it to approximate size. Because the more you cut off, the less you have to grind off. Now, once I get everything cut out, then I'll have to put a hole in the center. That ain't big enough. That doesn't matter, the leather, it's just whatever I have, and I have a whole bunch of scraps. So when I get enough squares cut out, we'll put the holes in the center, and I'll show you how we do that. It's a pretty fun project, ain't it? Alright, let's start knocking holes in this. I have a center punch, a leather punch. I'm just going to punch a hole in the center of each one, and that will slide down over the chain. Let's get them sort of almost center. Just like that. Pardon me. Now there's about 30 or 40 more to do, so I'll continue with that and we'll go on to the next step. Alright, got all the leather cut for the stacked leather handle. I'm going to have to move really quickly because this glue will set up in about 20 or 25 minutes. Then I have to compress it at the end. So we're just going to start sliding our leather on there. So I'm just going to let the camera run. It might run a little bit long, but I want young Nick to see how his knife is going together. Now this is the same glue that I use to glue sheaves together before the stitching goes on. Very good stuff. And the very top coat will actually be epoxy. But we'll get to that after all this dries. Now I purposely cut more pieces than I actually need, because when you get to the end of doing this, if you're a couple of pieces short, that's not good. Always better to have too much than not enough. Toward the middle of the handle, it gets a little bit wider. So I'll just put a little bit of extra glue. And this glue here, this Ducko cement, The only place I can find it anymore is the local hardware. I always have it. Good stuff. It'll stick all kinds of things together. Alright, we're right there at the top of where we need to be. Now I'm going to take a socket, just a plain old socket, put right here. I have a clamp. I'm trying to go quickly. Just a hand clamp. Now we're going to compress all this down. Just like that. Now, we'll leave that pressure on there. Now let it sit for several hours, or a couple of hours anyway. Let it dry good. Then we'll come back and put on the washer and the cap. And that will go on there with epoxy. And then we'll brad the end down. And we'll see all that in just a little bit. Now that is that for right now. I'm ready to blade etch 12 blades over here. But before I do all that, I'm gonna go get me a sandwich. Alright, we'll be back and look at this in a little bit. Now, it is the middle of the night. Almost 1 in the morning. I can't sleep. So I thought I'd run out to the shop right quick. Since the glue is dried, leather's all stuck together good, I'm going to epoxy the cap on and let it dry for several hours before I get the hammer to it and brad that back over. This will just keep everything tight. While I'm doing the actual setting, when I brad that top down, that's actually what the main strength of the cap on there. Alright, that washer goes there. Okay, no need to put it all up on the tang because it won't do anything for it anyway. Just a second, I'll show you why. Okay, I've got enough of that. DevCon epoxy is the stuff. Okay, see that hollow right there? The only place it contacts it is up here, and that's where we'll brad that edge over. And I will also fill that up with some solder. Okay, I'm going to set this washer back up here for a little spacer. And knock it over like that. And yes, if y'all can see, I have on my house slippers. Well, we'll try it one more time. This back out. Don't need a lot of pressure on it, just a little bit. Just like that. Now, I'll set this down till sometime tomorrow. Let it dry. Pardon me, y'all, I'm tired, but I can't sleep. You ever been that way? Where you just wore out tired, but you can't sleep? That's the way I am. Oh well. There we go. We'll look at it again tomorrow. And work on a bunch more knives tomorrow, too. Alrighty. Sunday afternoon. We're back out here on the Air Force Pilot's Restoration knife. Now, the epoxy is set real good. I'm going to start braiding this end over so the handle will never come off. Now, what I'm going to do is start an attempt. Cut a couple little reliefs right there so I can bend that metal over and get it started. Don't cut too much. You know what? That is exactly what that Dremel tool is for. Thought I could do it with that. Let me get that out. Hang on. Alright, let's try this. Well, safety glasses. Hang on. There we go. Don't want anything in my eye. It's not supposed to be there. There we go. Now, take those off where I can see. I'm going to take this little chisel gently and push this end over and this end over. Then I can start seating it down on there. Now, the ideal way to brad anything is to heat it, get it hot. It makes it a lot easier, but that's not an option on this because that, if I get it hot, that will loosen up the epoxy and the glue that's inside the leather, and it will make a mess and have to start all over. Ask me how I know. Let's see, let's talk about this tool a little bit. I have the whole set of these. This is a 3/8 Mayhew made in the USA chisel. I've got one smaller than this, I forget the size, and The whole set all the way up to the big ones. Made in the USA tools are hard to find anymore. Brand new anyway. And no, they don't pay me to say that. I like their tools. And I've had this set for a long time. Okay, let's reposition the knife a little bit. Notice I got the blade all wrapped up with a paper towel. Whoops. Which anything made of paper these days is high dollar stuff. There we go. Keep my hands out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. That's not wanting to bend. Let's try this. Take the peen of the hammer. Now it's moving. Don't need a lot. Don't need a lot, just a little bit. Very nice. That's going over good that end. I wish I knew how to do that speed up thing in the editing, like the restorations guy do, where it goes real fast. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? I need to learn how to do that. Alright, the gap is closed up just about on this side. Now already if I left it just like this, it would not come off of there. By the time he sees this, it'll already be past. But I'm doing this for my buddy, my little brother Kevin, for his son. I've already told him happy birthday, but I'll tell you online, but I'll tell you again, happy birthday, buddy. You getting old like me. Now we'll go back to the chisel. There we go. That moved it a little bit. Now, it's seated. I'm going to keep tapping on it just a little bit, flatten it out some more, make sure, try to spread it on the sides. But I won't bore you with all that, because this video is going to be long enough anyway. That's why it's in two parts. But I want to make sure I get every step in there so young Nick knows how his knife went back together. I'll finish doing that, we'll clean it up, then we will start grinding on the handle. Grind this leather off of there.